Welcome everyone to the deep dive. Today we're doing something a bit different, taking a really unique plunge into the insights for August 3rd, 2025. These come from High Seas Daily Tarot and Astrology. Now, we've got, quite a bit to look at. The astrology of the day, the TarotScope, that's the Torfire reversed, and also this really profound storytime piece, The Eagle Who Forgot the Sky. So our goal, our mission today is basically to see how these different views, these lenses on the same day kind of weave together and hopefully offer some, practical guidance on clarity, perspective, realizing potential. Okay, let's unpack this. So starting with the astrology of the day, it talks about the energy for August 3rd building like a crescendo, leading to this profound sense of wholeness in the evening. And it says, whatever we've been brewing in your heart finds clear expression in the world. What does it really suggest for us? How should we approach the day?
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? There's this strong encouragement to, think big, to really venture beyond the tried and true. It feels like a day for dusting off those big picture dreams,
Yeah.
letting them actually take some shape. But, and this is important, there's that caveat, keep one foot in reality.
Right.
Seek inspiration, not escapism.
Right.
So it's about expanding, yes, but staying grounded, not floating away completely.
I like that. Grand vision, but practical feet on the ground. The source also mentions conversations sparkle with insight and humor, fostering connections. It's good energy for learning, teaching, and bridging differences through genuine dialogue.
Yeah.
It even says brainstorms might seem too crazy, but could still offer new perspectives. So, does that lively communication come with any potential snags or nuances?
That's a really good point. Because while the energy is super vibrant, it's also a day where apparently our inner and outer worlds align, which means, everything feels possible,
Yeah.
genuinely possible. It points to this powerful synergy where action and emotion dance together rather than pulling in opposite directions. So the challenge maybe is figuring out which of those crazy brainstorms actually taps into that deeper inner knowing, and which are just noise. But when it clicks, that alignment is where the real breakthroughs happen. You're not fighting yourself.
And speaking of alignment, it points to specific astrological moments too. Afternoon, Sagittarius moon trine Mercury. That's described as opening highways of communication and understanding. Then tonight, Sagittarius moon trine the sun, creating a golden thread between conscious will and unconscious wisdom. How do these specific transits kind of boost that main theme?
Well, they're like accelerators, really, for the day's whole vibe. The Moon-Mercury trine, it genuinely smooths out communication, makes it easier to say what you think and get what others mean on a deeper level.
Easier said than done sometimes.
Exactly. And then that Moon-Sun trine tonight, that brings this really profound link between what you consciously want and that deeper intuitive sense. It's like your intentions and your gut feeling are suddenly speaking the same language. That leads right into that sense of wholeness it mentioned.
Okay, that sounds incredibly positive, very expansive, which makes it even more interesting when we get to the TarotScope. Because despite all that flowing energy, the card for the day is the Two of Fire reversed. And that sounds like a specific challenge. What's that about? Especially when it mentions vision being clouded, potential stifled by doubt, distraction, or fear of failure.
Yeah, and this really raises that important question.
Yeah.
How do you square that expansive astrology with a tarot card screaming pause?
Right.
The Two of Fire reversed suggests that, yeah, the path is there, it's available, but our inner compass may be momentarily scrambled. So the key advice here is crystal clear. Avoid forcing decisions or needing control.
Okay.
The source literally says this is a pause and recalibrate day, not a leap day. And I love the analogy it uses. We are not lost. We are simply in the clouds today. Let the winds shift before we try to fly.
In the clouds.
So the takeaway is, if you feel blocked or unsure today, don't just push harder. That's the opposite of what's needed. Instead, it's about consciously stepping back, reevaluating your inner viewpoint, because the outer path clears up only when the inner vision does.
So it's not about finding a different road necessarily, but maybe seeing the one you're on differently. This idea of an inner compass scrambled, it resonates. What does recalibrating our internal lens actually mean practically for someone listening? And why is that inner freedom so crucial before acting?
Oh, it's absolutely critical. Because when that inner compass is off, forcing a decision, well, it's like trying to navigate thick fog with no instruments, right?
Yeah, you just go in circles or off a cliff.
Exactly. So the wisdom here is to step back and maybe even more importantly, let go of needing clarity right now. You have to trust it'll come back when you create some inner spaciousness.
Inner spaciousness.
Yeah, that freedom inside lets you detach from needing one specific outcome or only seeing things one way. We limit ourselves often by clinging too tightly to a single viewpoint. So this isn't about halting progress. It's about making sure that when you do move, it's from clarity and alignment, not just confusion or frustration.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. And it leads us beautifully into the story time. The eagle who forgot the sky. I found this such a powerful allegory, really tying together the astrology and the tarot. So let's talk about Aeshar, the eagle who flew highest, saw everything.
Yeah, Aeshar was, well, legendary. Flew higher than anyone, guided travelers,
Yeah.
read the land, the sky, the whole picture. But then the story says he got grounded. And crucially, it wasn't an injury, it was doubt.
Tao.
He perched on this cliff of stillness, and suddenly the world, which was so clear before, just became a maze of confusion. It says he could not remember why he had flown, which connects so directly back to that scrambled inner compass that clouded vision from the tarot card. His inner state literally changed how he perceived reality outside.
And the villagers saw it too. They said, "The great eye has dimmed, and he no longer sees the way." Every day the sun called him to fly, and he just couldn't. I do not know where you go. It's such a picture of being utterly lost inside yourself.
Totally disoriented.
Yeah.
But then comes the turning point. This silent girl with a small, cracked mirror. And when Aeshar looked into it, he didn't see his reflection, his feathers or talons. It says he saw the sky reflected in his eyes.
Ah.
Now, if we connect that to the bigger picture, that's the internal shift, right? He wasn't looking out there for the sky he'd lost. He was reminded that the capacity for that vision, for that elevation, was still inside him, reflected back at him.
It wasn't gone, just forgotten.
Exactly. The outside world hadn't changed. His internal perception had.
And that's the aha moment. He realized he hadn't lost the sky. He'd lost his willingness to see from above, his perspective that had narrowed. So he flew again, not to escape, but to remember how to see it. And from up there, the maze was a mandala, the confusion, only closeness. Beautiful.
That really is the heart of it, the moral. When your possibilities seem clouded, remember, it is not the world that shrinks, but the soul that forgets to look up. And crucially, clarity returns not with effort, but with elevation.
With effort, with elevation. I love that.
And that elevation, it's not just about flying higher physically. It's that inner recalibration we talked about, that shift in perspective that allows you to see the real situation.
It really makes me think about those times you're just stuck right up against a problem. And the only way out is to literally step away, take a break, get some distance.
Yeah.
Is that the kind of elevation?
Precisely that. It's about gaining that mental or emotional distance, not necessarily physical. When you're too close, the details just become a confusing maze. They overwhelm you.
Right.
But from a little distance, suddenly you see the mandala, the bigger pattern, how things connect, maybe even the beauty in it all. It's about releasing that need to micromanage every step and trusting the bigger picture, the flow.
Okay, so let's try and pull all this together. We've got the expansive astrology, the pausing tarot, the insightful story. What does this practically mean for you listening right now as you go through August 3rd? How do we actually use this? Integrate the big energy with the wisdom of the pause, the need for perspective.
Well, I think it means August 3rd really is a day that's ripe for big ideas, for expressing what's in your heart, for that alignment. It's genuinely there. But that expansive action, it's going to be most powerful, most effective when your internal lens is clear.
Okay.
So if that doubt creeps in, that to a fire reverse feeling, the answer isn't to force it. It's not more effort. Instead, it's that conscious choice to step back, to trust that clarity will return. Just like Aeshar seeing the sky reflected in his own eyes.
Find it within first.
Exactly. That internal recalibration is what opens the door to that golden thread between conscious will and unconscious wisdom the astrology talked about. It ensures your big dreams are chased with real vision, with that inner spaciousness, not just frantic energy.
That's really powerful. We so often just push harder when we feel stuck, don't we? But maybe that maze of confusion we sometimes feel isn't the world shrinking, like the story says. Maybe it's just closeness. Maybe it just needs us to step back, look up. Remember that vision isn't just handed to us, it's claimed. Claimed by the one who dares to rise, internally first. Definitely something to think about as you move through your day. And if you want to explore more from High Seas, you can find their offerings at tarotwaybyhick.net. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive.